Hey everybody, thanks so much for attending today. I am here with my friend Brian from Just Press One. We're going to be chatting about hiring during tough times and giving you the three top tips for home service businesses. We know that it's a little bit tough out there right now, so thank you so much for tuning in to today's session, and let's dive right in. So Ryan, welcome. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks, Melissa, for having me. It's great to be here. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining. I'm excited to share some of my knowledge and yeah, really just glad to be here. Thanks so much for inviting me.
Yeah, definitely. So we're going to be covering a lot today. Today's agenda is all about finding top talent, expanding your home service business seamlessly, and running your back office on autopilot. So we're going to be covering these three top tips today. So let's go right into it. All right, so finding top talent. We know that as a home service business professional, you're trying to grow and scale your business, you're trying to hire, you're trying to expand your market reach, serve new customers in different areas, and really grow your bottom line. How can you do that? Well, you need to find good talent, right? And specifically, you should really be focusing on finding tradespeople. But what about all the other stuff? Delegating the dispatching, scheduling, invoicing, customer service, routing, parts research. There's so much that really adds up on the back end of the business where you can't do your job out in the field, or your field techs can't do their job out, with customers if all of that's not getting done somehow. So I want to chat with Ryan today about, how to find these people and really focusing on work ethic, because we know right now things are a little crazy in the employment market. So Ryan, what do you think about all that?
Yeah, definitely. I think work ethic is not what it used to be. And it goes without saying that probably everybody here has either had an experience or they know someone who's had an experience where they hired someone and it just didn't meet the needs of their business, right? And so now you're going and you're hiring another person. So work ethic is just not the same. It's not like the old days where, the driving generation and work ethic was the most important thing, right? And so whether that's the social media or whatever it might be, work ethic is just not the way it used to be. So finding the right people is tough, but they are out there. Now, I wanted to kind of go in a little bit about the current employment situation. I mean, that really affects the work ethic too, as well. With the pandemic ongoing and COVID cases, the employment rate is still above average. When the pandemic hit, yeah, it was crazy, right? The employment rate went up to like 14, 15%, which was unheard of. And although it's going back down and we're back under those double digits, you're still getting a lot of people who are either not, they don't want to go work into an office. They don't want to be in close contact with people. And although you can work from home, they're just not looking for it. So, it is adding to that challenge where finding the right person is just becoming tougher and tougher in these days. And then on top of that, with the pandemic unemployed assistance, it's just that little extra incentive to like, well, I could just stay home with the kids a little bit longer. Why not? So all of these things are, of course, adding to that challenge that everybody's experiencing, from tradesmen, service centers, to every industry, whether you're a mechanic or you're a technician. I mean, everybody's having a hard time. So it really is difficult out there.
Yeah, and I think really focusing on the strategy behind hiring. So, growing and scaling your business, you need all hands on deck. You need to get creative in your hiring strategy. Maybe you're hiring people that aren't in your local area and you are finding people that are working remotely. Maybe you're working with, local community groups, friends and family, like trying to join business masterminds, things like that, where you can sort of talk shop with other service pros and start to figure out, okay, how can we be proactive in finding top talent when it comes to all of those back office admin type roles? Because I think personally, it's probably a lot harder to find a tradesperson right now because we've all been taught to kind of go to school and get good grades and go to college and then get like a white collar office job, right? And so the trades are really having a tough time right now, whether that's in appliance repair or plumbing or HVAC, we're seeing this left and right. And so I love, Ryan, that, you guys at Just Press One, you really do focus on the work ethic in your day-to-day hiring of these folks. So, that brings us to this next topic on expanding your business seamlessly. So how can you find an extension of your office, someone that can work remotely while also reducing your overhead, right? You know that, sometimes hiring these highly qualified professional type people can cost you like an arm and a leg, right? And so how do we do this where we're finding people that are independent, they're self-motivated, they're friendly, they're hardworking, they're committed to the job, they're committed to customers, obviously. And do they have previous experience? Have they done this before, or are they a total newbie that you're going to have to train up, right from the very bottom? What I've found in the States, here in the US at the time of this recording, customer experience tends to kind of go out the window if you don't hire the right person for that role, for that person that's, the first point of contact for your company. Companies are getting found on Google, they're getting found on Yelp, they're getting found on Thumbtack. And if you're answering the phone and you have someone that's not so great at doing that, you're probably losing business. So customer experience really is key. Ryan, how can we find folks that are focused on customer experience and really committed to the job?
It's a really good question. And I think, as you said before, if you open yourself up to expanding outside of your local area, that work from home mindset that we're all experiencing right now, it does broaden your ability to find good quality people that don't necessarily have to come into an office. And with the way that technology is opening things up, it's made it even more feasible. Now we're looking at the options of getting someone in a different city, in a different state, or even in a different country. It opens up all of those things. And like I said before, yes, we've all had that issue where you've hired the wrong person. It happens. We've all done that. But I think the important thing to try and do is, as you're looking to grow your business, you want to expand, is to find a good partner, a good HR, a good workforce solution partner that is not so rigid in the way that they do things, but they understand your business, right? It's a communication. You want to be able to basically make a relationship with this company because they're going to be supplying people for you. So it doesn't really matter who it is. They have to communicate. I mean, that's so important, right? How else do you know, how else will that company really know what it is that they're looking for, right? So that's the big one. And I always express to people when they're talking about looking for some kind of workforce solution that, first and foremost, if they're not communicating with you from day one, if they're not asking you about your business, if they don't want to get to know you, they're not the right person. They're going to just get you kind of the same thing that you were finding before when you were having a hard time in your local area. So that's big. Another one that I think is really important is understanding the training that comes with anybody. Now, if you're staying in the United States and you're looking for people wherever that platform might be, does that person have experience in our industry? Did they come from appliances and they're going into HVAC? Do they have, are they a plumber by trade and they're just looking for something to do at home to not have to go into someone's house anymore? There are those options, but a lot of times it's hard to find, right? Like you said, skilled tradesmen, they're a dime a dozen these days. Every company that we work with, that's the same issue that they're having. You can find customer service people, but it's hard to find tradesmen. It's hard to find them because there's just not a lot of them. And if you do find one that's good, they're asking for a significant amount because they're worth that money in which you pay them. So really good training is important. And then I think that next really important thing is going to be flexibility in the options. So we talk about, a lot of people here have small businesses, maybe, it's just them and they're going out there in their house and their phone is ringing, and that's a potential cost to them, they're losing by not answering that phone call and booking that next job. But of course, customer service is not just on the phone. It's also when you're in that person's home It's about paying attention to that customer and providing them a good quality repair and making sure that they're feeling cared about, especially emergency HVAC. Hey, your pipe broke and your house is flooding and your floors are being damaged, or you have medication in your fridge and your fridge is not working, it's not cooling. These are all emergencies, and so you want to know that the person that's coming out there actually cares. So that's important, and that person doesn't want to sacrifice that connection that they have by answering a phone call, nor do they really want to do that when they're in an attic or under an appliance with their head in the oven or whatever it is. So finding a company that can provide you different options for your workforce, whether it's a dedicated person, maybe they do front and back, or it's a person that just answer phone calls, just to help with that volume and taking messages. That's a big one. But I would say probably the single most important thing is going to be what we call in the industry redundancies, right? Like, you want to know that someone is always going to be there taking care of your work.
Mhm.
We have it in the US when you go to the office and you realize, somebody's sick today. That means we're going to all have to answer the phones a little bit more. Feeling under the weather, I'm going on maternity or paternity leave, whatever it might be, right? It happens. That's just human nature. So you want to find a partner that has the ability to basically fill in those spots, right? They understand your needs, they understand how you work, and they can kind of take care of those ebbs and flows of just general HR attendance issues.
Yeah, because I mean, it is so important to let that back office run on autopilot as much as possible, because people do get sick, people do want to take vacation, people do quit and go find another job. And like you said, a lot of times with these CEOs, as they're growing and scaling their companies and their home service professional businesses, they're sort of the chief everything officer, right? They're trying to do everything. They have everything stored up here, right in their heads, and nothing is written down. Nothing is in any sort of software system or app or tool where, God forbid something happens to them. Okay, well, what happens to the business? Are your processes documented? Do you have SOPs, standard operating procedures? Do you have workflows? Do you have a platform, like Workies, right? A field service management platform that's robust in being able to store all of your contact information for every client you've ever had, their phone numbers, their addresses, their kids' names, their, what happened, the history of the job, what you fixed, all of that good stuff can be stored now digitally, which why wouldn't you do that? I always laugh, and I know you do too, Ryan, when, we see the CEOs that are like trying to take their business, say, to $1 million a year, and they're still running their business on paper calendars and whiteboards and paper to-do lists and sticky notes everywhere. And maybe their wife or their sister or their niece is trying to like make sense of it all on the back office end with like the accounting and the invoicing and everything, and it's just a mess. And so that's no way to take your business to the next level. So I love what you said about making sure that you have the systems and structures and people in place for when things happen, right? Stuff happens. And so what do we do to help fill those gaps? Yeah, love that.
Yeah, it's a huge thing. I mean, you got to make sure that there's someone there to answer the phone, take care of stuff. And you just got to know, like, the business, although you've built it, if you want to grow it, you've got to rely on other people. I mean, I had honestly the hardest time when we expanded our business overseas to the Philippines. I was doing everything, creating payroll calendars on Excel documents, tracking, employees coming in and out with punch cards. You do things manually because it's easy to set up. And it's tough to get out of that because you put it together, you understand the robustness of it. It works. It's kind of fail safe. But if you are trying to get to that next level, you're trying to get to that $1 million point, you're trying to get some extra technicians to work with you, it's less about keeping the way it is and more about finding a solution that is well tested. It's got a lot of user experience and positive feedback. It updates regularly because in this world, things update quickly. We're a technology driven, society now. So you want to make sure you're not running on something like Windows 98. I mean, you want to make sure you're still getting those updates. And it's nice when things happen in real time. Web apps or mobile applications are huge. So being able to, assess things and update things in real time. These are all great things. And that's why like the Workies platform is just amazing because it brings all of those right to that technician. And then you can get rid of those kind of old-fashioned, outdated Excel documents, or God forbid, you have, like a old high school notebook where you're writing in between the lines, like, hey, customer said, don't forget, don't ring the doorbell between 2 and 5 because my mom is sleeping, so you got like all these things you have to worry about, like that stuff, you want to find a robust system.
Yep. I've seen those way too many times. The dusty binder on the bookshelf as like the training manual, when they're bringing new people on board. So
We all have them.
definitely, yeah, definitely time to help these service pros take their business to the next level. That being said, Ryan has an awesome deal for you. So if you're thinking about utilizing a workforce solutions company to help you find top talent, definitely check out Just Press One. You can go to justpress1.com to learn how Ryan's team can help you hire the best. Also, if you're kind of stuck in the paper clutter and the sticky notes and the to-do lists and the whiteboards and the siloed Excel documents and all of that stuff that we just talked about, definitely give Workies a try. It's no commitment, 14-day free trial, no credit card required, and then 30% off of Workies for 3 months. If you decide that you like the platform and it's something that you want to incorporate into growing your home service business, you can grab that deal for 30% off Workies at workies.com/justpress1 to grab that special offer. So thanks so much for being here, Ryan. Any final thoughts just before we close?
Yeah, no, it was a great pleasure. Thank you so much for having me. I hope everyone finds this very informative. If you guys want to find out any more information about what Just Press One offers, feel free to go to our website. It's very descriptive on what we do, everything from the front of house stuff, answering your phone calls, to the back of house stuff, parts research, authorizations, claims. We love claims. We're the claims kings. Auditing, bookkeeping, accounting. I mean, we pride ourselves on being like the leading industry expert for the workforce solution for the appliance industry. This is where we come from. We came from Key Prestige. If any of you guys remember that, that's our founder of Just Press One. She founded Key Prestige and Service Power and now JPO. And so we come with a ton of experience. Even if you are not sure what you want to do, there is a web link on our website. Just go to justpress1.com. The last tab, it says contact. Just go in there, fill out your information. We there's no commitment, but we would love to talk to you. Maybe you guys just want advice on the right thing to do. We have no problem. We pride ourselves in helping a lot of people, whether you work with us or not. We just like to see the industry thrive. So reach out to us. We look forward to hearing from more of you, and we look forward to doing business with as many of you guys as we want. So Melissa, thank you. I really appreciate the invite, and thank you everybody for participating.
Yeah, awesome stuff. Thank you guys again for attending. Check out those links, workies.com/justpress1 and justpress1.com, and we'll be back for more content soon. Stay tuned.
Thanks, bye.